John Parker Romo from Peachtree City is now Atlanta Falcon. He's a kicker for the Atlanta Falcons, and they just did an interview with him on the Atlanta Falcons YouTube channel, and he says he's ready. He says he's ready to do whatever they need him to do, want to help make some field goals and win some games, and he sounds very confident, and this is something that doesn't bode well for Young Wei Koo. Now, Young Wei Koo had the missed field goal to take the game into overtime, and a lot of people like calling for him to be removed. And I'm one of those people. And then don't get me wrong, I am a Georgia Southern Eagle, and I love Young Wei Koo. He's done great things for our team, even for the Georgia Southern Eagles and the Atlanta Falcons. But based on what I've seen last year and this year, I think it's time to go ahead and move on from him. It's very unfortunate, but we do have Parker Romo, and it seems like they got a kid that's local, so that does help. He looks excited. He looks like he's ready to go and play, and hopefully we get some results out of that. Now, anything about him that you want to know, I'm about to tell you right now. He played for the San Antonio Brahmas in the XFL. He was selected all XFL in 2023, and I think he actually holds the all-time record, or he's the all-time leader in field goals in the XFL, which is, that's, I ain't gonna say that's something amazing, but that's something that, you wouldn't think about. So that bodes well. So as far as him being in the NFL, he had 11 field goals made out of 12, 91% percentage, and his longest field goal is 55 yards. So from what I see here, it looks like on paper, this is a guy that may give us some good results. And we're not asking anybody to be, standing up the Young Wei Koo or be necessarily better than Young Wei Koo. We just need somebody to make some field goals. That's it. If it's so be it that he becomes like this legendary kicker for the Falcons, I mean, that's cool. But right now, we just need somebody to be consistent and make the field goals, put the ball between the uprights. So that's it. So I think this is, it's going to be a really cool thing. It's going to be a really good experience to see if this works out, because, kickers, you may not want to admit it, kickers do decide games at times. I mean, you saw what happened with San Francisco, and you see what's going on now. You've seen this in all over the history of the NFL, where kickers are necessarily, to blame, or they're somewhat of the reason why we miss a kick. Now, I know there's other people out there going to say, hey, man, but what about the other factors leading up to that point? Yeah, that's very well true. There's always blame to go around. But in that moment, you want that kicker to make that kick. Ask the Buffalo Bills back in the early 90s. They would have had a Super Bowl ring. But it is what it is. But nevertheless, we're going to see what Parker Romo does. Like I said, when I looked at the interview, I was watching it. He seemed like he is upbeat. He's excited. He's glad to be here. And, playing for a hometown team, that always makes you want to, do a little bit more or be more enthusiastic of being there. And I think that's going to, bode well, not only for him, but even for the team, so I think that's going to be the case. Like I said, at the end of the day, this is the Falcons. So we are looking at a situation where we are scratching our heads, hoping for a victory. And I think, honestly, and I'm not going to get into this just yet. I'm going to talk about this later on in the week. But I do believe that the Falcons somewhat have the better team against the Vikings. And I'm not saying that the Vikings are a bad team. I think they're pretty solid. But I think, like, talent-wise, the Atlanta Falcons have the better team. And this is what's so mind-boggling about the Falcons in general. It's like we have these teams set up to do great things. The players are there, and you think you're, like, right there, but it's always like this one thing that gets in the way. And we're trying to rectify that right now with the kicker. We had an issue with that with the quarterback years ago. We had an issue with the pass rushes. It's a little bit of everything, but you have an emphasis on one particular thing that stands out like a sore thumb. And like the last game just passed. Yeah, I know that the defense didn't hold their end to the bargain. We gave up a couple of passing touchdowns, but still, you want to get that game in overtime at the end of the day. Like I said, there's a lot of blame to go around, but you want your kicker to be automatic. And I think, this is what's going to be the case. I think that John Parker Romo could be that guy to, actually have us be in that position to actually, at the very least, make some field goals. So let me know what you guys think. I'm going to get up out of here. I got some couple other things I got to do. Thanks to everybody who's been watching the channel. I really appreciate you guys. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace.